The polishing technique is the same with all the 3M brand ST, SC, and FC hot melt connectors. To begin, start with an air polish. You may use any coarse grit, such as 9-micron lapping film. Air polishing is done by holding the connector in one hand with the ferrule end face up, and gently moving the lapping film in circles over the tip of the ferrule. This procedure is done to dull any sharp edges on the fiber end face. Continue the air polish until half of the blue bead is removed from the ferrule end face. This will reduce the time required to polish the connector. Be very careful not to over-polish during this step. Excessive polishing will cause the end face of the fiber to fall below the tip of the ferrule. Once you have finished the air polish, place 2 drops of distilled water on the pad. Place a sheet of 2-micron blue-green lapping film on the pad, glossy side down, and clean thoroughly. Place the polishing jig on the lapping film. Place the connector with the ferrule end down into the polishing jig until it stops. Grip the connector with your thumb and forefinger while gently resting them on the jig. Begin polishing with light pressure, moving the jig in a figure 8 pattern. The speed of your figure 8s should be between 1 and 2 per second. After completing 5 figure 8s, increase pressure until all the blue adhesive has been removed from the tip of the ferrule. When the jig begins to slide more easily, lift the puck and connector up and visually inspect the ferrule end face to see if the adhesive bead has been removed. Once the adhesive has been removed, perform 3 additional figure 8s. After you have completed polishing, clean the connector end face with a lint-free cloth and isopropyl alcohol. Each sheet of the 1-step 2-micron lapping film can be used for 2 connectors. If you are terminating a multi-mode connector, you are now ready to inspect your termination with the 6365 VS Viewscope and complete the last step of the termination process. Terminating a single-mode hot melt requires an additional polishing step. Prepare the second round polishing pad furnished in your universal hot melt kit. Clean the pad thoroughly prior to placing a sheet of frosted white final polish lapping film on the pad. Clean the polishing jig with a lint-free cloth and alcohol. Place 2 drops of distilled water on the lapping film. Insert the ferrule end of the connector into the polishing jig until it stops. Perform 3 figure 8s only. Once this is done, remove the connector from the polishing jig and clean with a lint-free cloth and isopropyl alcohol. Each sheet of the final polish 0.05 micron lapping film can be used for up to 8 connectors.